that portions of that editorial were extracted from a blog post written by Eric Severin. And as brilliant as those words were, they were not mine. And for that, I truly apologize. While it's not uncommon for multiple minds and voices to come together to craft speeches, articles, and other messages designed to translate a leader's ideas into words which inspire and allow us to inform the very people that we serve, it is both uncommon and unacceptable for others' words and ideas to be lifted without permission and without attribution. And there's certainly no place for that in Augusta, Georgia. I can assure you that great measures have been taken to ensure that we never cross this road again. And I want to publicly apologize to the author, Mr. Eric Severin, with whom I've spoken with at length on today. His words are both timely and relevant to what we are experiencing here in Augusta, and he certainly deserves full credit and accolades for his work. I also want to apologize to both the Augusta Chronicle and the people of Augusta. It's never my intention to mislead you. I recognize and hold high the values of honesty, integrity, and transparency in our communications. And while that standard was inadvertently compromised in this occasion, I pledge to you today that new safeguards have been implemented to ensure that all communications and thoroughly vetting of these types of reports or articles, and they're submitted in a manner that merits your trust and withstands even the highest levels of scrutiny as we move forward. This has been an incredible teaching moment for me as a mayor, most importantly as a person and certainly for my administration. But from this we will grow stronger, and we will rise from this place prepared to serve Augusta better in the days ahead. I do apologize for the course by which we've arrived here today, but there's one thing that I will not retreat from, and that is that the ideals upon which the article was written. It is time for the leadership of this city to come together and to chart a new course for the future of Augusta, Georgia. It is time that we work together to advance the health, welfare, and safety for all of our citizens. It is time that we have the difficult conversations, the unpopular conversations that get us out of our comfort zones. And it is time to be people of action, willing to work together, to compromise, to hear other people's ideas, and then to be able to build coalitions to get the important work done that makes our city a better city. It is time, and it remains my hope, that the September retreat will in fact prove to have been the place where we earnestly began working to achieve the potential of our great city, and most importantly, to achieve one Augusta. Thank you.
Mr. Ryan, did you have a question?
I'll refer to the other program. Thank you.
Ms. McCord?
You mentioned contributors who had provided you with this material. Can you tell us?
Unbeknownst to me, we arrived at the place that we're at today.
Who were these
addressed that matter
contributors?
with those contributors, and again, we will never reach this place again. We've addressed that matter with them, and we're moving forward.
Mr. Escalante?
I'll follow up there, Mayor. I mean, walk us through the process here. I'm going to write an article. Did the Chronicle ask you to write this column? You wrote to them. How did it all come together? Why was it submitted with your name if there's words in there that you didn't write? Walk us through that entire process on how we got Mr. Severin's words into your article.
Well, I'm not certain as to how we arrived at a place of getting Mr. Severin's words into the article. As I do from time to time, I reach out to folks who have an occasion to support us in writing. I did at this time and received input. Little did I know that that input was from, obviously, this blog article. And had I known that, we would have taken the appropriate steps to cite it as such. That did not happen, and I accept full responsibility because I'm the one who submitted the article to the Chronicle. I think that's what's important here. At the end of the day, I have to accept full responsibility for what's taking place, and I do that. What I've done now is to come and to address that. We're not going to run from this issue. The issue at hand is that there is information in an article that I submitted, and I fully accept responsibility for that. I want to move on from that.
Mr. Mayor, you said that you didn't willingly or knowingly use information, but how heavy of a hand did you have in actually writing this and looking over it before you submitted it?
Well, again, in the press for time, I only put just a minimal amount of time into writing and supporting it. As I reached out to individuals for support and comment, I got that back, glossed over it, and felt confident that, again, hopefully this is an appropriate article that all of the citations are in it that need to be in it. And today we find out that that's not the case. It's very unfortunate. As I've expressed to Mr. Severian, I deeply apologize to him. And he was very gracious in me making that phone call to him. It's a disappointing day for my administration, for my office, for my staff, as we move forward in this city, that the people of Augusta can continue to trust me in the things that they've charged me to do in leading not only the city of Augusta, but us into a better place as a city.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes, I have two questions, Mr. Mayor. Number one is after this broke, you still don't know how those words got in there. And two, the contributors that you're talking about, are they paid contributors?
So the people that have supported in writing this article, not paid contributors. But then number two, as with receiving an article like this or comment, which is what I did, we did not vet it. We typically would vet things like this, and we did not take sufficient enough time. When I say we, I take responsibility for that. It is important and incumbent upon me, if I'm going to submit an article, a message of any form in this community, that we properly vet that. I failed to do that this time. I'm certainly disappointed in what I've done, and this is a terrible mistake that I accept responsibility for. And it's my hope that we're, again, able to move forward from here.
If I can just follow up, I mean,
Certainly.
it seemed easy enough to find out how those words got in there. Are you not curious about them?
Well, again, I've had conversations with the folks who submitted the comments to me, and we've dealt with that, and I've dealt with them. We've, again, immediately terminated our relationship from the standpoint of them assisting in writing anything for us in the future.
Are they on the city payroll?
No, they're not. They're not.
You said that there are safeguards in place to keep this from happening again. Describe those to me.
Well, what we've done at this point is put a protocol in place that we're still developing in terms of if we're requested to write an article, or if we reach out and want to submit something in the future from an op-ed perspective, or even a letter to the editor. We want to make sure that we've got people who we trust moving forward, who can help assist us with that and properly vet those things. But at the same time, we've heard and received information that there are sources out there on the web that we can actually run information through that will do a Google search and find out if there are any statements in what we have that are attributed or tied to other articles. We did not have that information before, but we're better armed on today to be able to address those types of things.
Thank you.
And I think it's
When you say them, how many people
It's
were
gotta
involved?
get to the.
I think this is public, is public.
Mhm.
How many people were involved? And
There were multiple people involved in this
2,
conversation.
3?
Multiple people.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I think what's important at this point to the residents of Augusta, and certainly to the Augusta Chronicle, as the mayor of this city, it's important for me to take responsibility for this. But I also say that it's important for us to move beyond this place. And the real heart of this retreat is where we are as a city, and for us to come together and to be able to move forward. I take responsibility. I understand that there are questions that may linger, but I'm not running from it. I'm coming and addressing it today just as I have, and I'll continue to do that moving forward.
Just one more question.
Thank you so much.
Have any of the contributors taken responsibility for doing it?
They have. They
Have they
have.
admitted doing it?
They have. Yeah.
And just one more question. What do you say to the residents of Augusta who are taken back that, for an op-ed coming from the mayor wasn't really totally written by the mayor? There were contributors to it.
Well, I think what people take away from this is that the mayor, he learns a lot from this experience, that in the role that he serves in, we've given him our public trust, and we want him to continue to do everything he can to uphold that. And that's why we're having this conversation today. It's unfortunate. I wish we were not here. But now that we are here, let me address it head on and take full responsibility for it. I really appreciate y'all being here
A
today.
student at Georgia Tech could get expelled for turning in a paper with unsourced and plagiarized material.
Well, I'd submit to you that a student at our local high schools, or any school for that matter, would have significant repercussions as a result of something like this happening, which is why we're addressing it today. We didn't run from this. We didn't run from the conversation when it was brought to our attention on yesterday, which we did not know, we were not aware. We've come and we've addressed it. We gave a statement yesterday, and now we're coming to address your questions today, which is, I think, what's appropriate. And so, to that end, as I've said earlier, it's time for us to get to the business of what the people elected me to do. This is an unfortunate matter. I've gone and taken steps to not only apologize to Mr. Severin, but also to the Chronicle for giving me a platform upon which we could communicate. And so I don't take that lightly. I do not take that lightly at all. The fact of the matter is, they did that with an expectation of me being able to communicate in the capacity that they've expected from me for the last 9 years as an elected official. I want to make sure I get back to that place.
Will you be writing for the Chronicle again?
I think I look forward to sharing as many of our thoughts and visions for this city as possible, and hopefully they'll give me that opportunity.
Would you commit to no longer using a ghostwriter for any of your publications?
Well, I can't say that at this point, Susan. I think that what we have to do in this office, as we talk about the safeguards and protocols we've got in place and that we're continuing to work on, is that we fully vet individuals before we allow them an opportunity to comment or provide input on anything that comes out of the mayor's office because of the office, and wanting to make sure that we maintain some sense of honor and integrity for this noble office. So that's my commitment moving forward.
Is it possible that these contributors that admitted plagiarizing these passages didn't know that it was wrong?
I can't speak to that. I think it's certainly a fair question, but I have an expectation, just as you have an expectation of me as the mayor, that I'm going to do things in an honorable way. That's the same thing that I expect when I ask people to provide information to me. And in this example, there was a failure in that. I have to own that. I'm the one standing here today in front of you as reporters, as members of our media. And it's, again, an unfortunate experience, one that we'll move forward from, one that we will get back to doing the business of the people around the retreat and what we hope to accomplish out of it and what we look forward to doing moving forward. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think you'll have copies of this.